All right, welcome. Today, we're going to crack open the hood on one of Colombia's most powerful and, let's be honest, complex institutions, the DIAN. Think of it as the engine that literally funds the country and guards its economic borders. We're going to see exactly how it all works.
I mean, have you ever really thought about it? How does a nation pay for roads, schools, and security? How does it control everything that comes in and out? Well, it all comes down to this one massive organization that, one way or another, touches the life of every single person in business. So let's pull back the curtain.
Okay, so first things first. To really get a grip on Colombia's economy, you have to understand the DIAN. It's not just another government office. It's right at the very heart of everything.
So, the acronym DIAN stands for Dirección de Impuestos y Aduanas Nacionales. You know, the National Directorate of Taxes and Customs. That's the official title. But what it is? Well, that's what makes it so fascinating, and actually pretty unique on the world stage.
See, here's what's so different. Most countries, they have one agency for taxes and a totally separate one for customs. Makes sense, right? But back in 1992, Colombia did something bold. They fused them together into one single powerhouse. And that unified structure, that's a defining feature, designed to make everything, from collecting money to controlling the borders, way more streamlined.
And this quote right here, it perfectly sums up their mission. It's really a two-part job. On one side, they have to make sure the government has the money it needs to run the country. That's the whole fiscal security part. But on the other, they have to manage all the goods coming in and out, to protect local businesses and keep the economy stable.
So, how on earth do you manage an organization with a mission that massive? You can't just have a bunch of departments doing their own thing. You need a blueprint, a master plan. And DIAN's is, well, it's pretty special.
Yeah, instead of a typical pyramid-shaped org chart, DIAN thinks in terms of processes. You should picture it less like a ladder and more like a horizontal map that shows how work actually gets done from start to finish. It connects all the different specialists together to deliver a final service, whether that's collecting a tax or clearing a shipment. And this entire map, this whole blueprint, is built on four main pillars. You've got the strategic dimension up top. That's where they decide where the ship is heading. You've got enabling processes, the support stuff like HR and tech. Then there's assurance, which is all about making sure everything is done correctly. But the real action, that's right in the middle, in the missional dimension.
Okay, this is it. This is where the rubber meets the road. The missional processes are the core engine of the DIAN. This is the stuff that you, me, and every business in Colombia actually interacts with.
What you really need to get is that this part is the operational core. It's where the day-to-day work happens, and it's all about a constant, delicate balancing act between two very different functions. So on one side of the scale, you have facilitation and collection. This is all about making it as easy as possible for people to do the right thing. But on the other side, you have control and enforcement. And that's all about making sure people actually do play by the rules. It's this constant dance between helping and, well, policing. Let's look at the helping side. Here you find things like registration. That's where every person and company gets their unique tax ID number, the RUT. Or you have customs regimes, which basically lays out the playbook for importing and exporting. And there are even processes for getting refunds if you happen to overpay. The whole goal here is to smooth the path.
Then you flip the coin to the enforcement side. Extensive controls. Think of these as huge automated sweeps that scan millions of tax filings at once, looking for red flags. But for more serious stuff, you have intensive investigations. These are the deep dive audits you hear about, looking for real fraud. And finally, portfolio recovery is just what it sounds like. They come looking for you if you haven't paid. This is how they guard the whole system.
Okay, we've seen the blueprint, we've seen the engine parts. But what does this all feel like? For you, for an actual person. Let's walk through a typical journey with DIAN.
Right. This is where that whole abstract process map becomes incredibly real. Whether you're a student starting your first job or an entrepreneur launching a company, your interaction with DIAN follows a pretty clear step-by-step path.
So it all starts with step 1, getting information, probably on their website or calling their helpline. Step 2, you register. You get that all-important RUT number. Step 3, you declare. You file your tax forms or your customs paperwork. Then, the moment you hit submit, step 4 happens instantly. DIAN's systems run an automated risk check. And that leads to the final step 5, resolution. Either you're all good or your file gets flagged for a closer look. See, it's a full journey.
So why? Why build this incredibly complex, process-driven machine? I mean, it's a ton of work. It's because the whole thing is designed to create very specific, very crucial value for the entire country.
When you boil it all down, this whole complex blueprint, this whole system we've been talking about, is really driving towards three big, powerful goals.
Goal number one, make it as simple and painless as possible for most people to do the right thing without being forced. Because let's face it, the system works because millions of people choose to comply, not because they catch a few who don't.
Goal number two, make foreign trade faster, cheaper, and more predictable. By making the customs process smooth and efficient, they lower costs for businesses and help make Colombia more competitive on the global stage. It's a huge economic lever.
And finally, goal 3. Use all that data and all those controls to strategically hunt down tax evasion and smuggling. This isn't just about catching bad guys, it's about protecting the country's revenue and, just as importantly, making sure there's a level playing field for all the honest businesses out there.
So there you have it. From making things easy to enforcing the rules. That's the machine inside the DIAN. It's a system that's always in motion, always trying to find that perfect balance between service and control. So now that you've seen the blueprint, it makes you think, right? With technology and the world changing so fast, what part of this system needs to transform next?